My mother-in-law convinced my husband I was cheating. He hit me so badly I cried. Then Dini proved the baby was his. Hey there, wonderful people. Take a moment to subscribe, drop a hi, and tell us where you're joining from. Ready? Let's continue with today's story. I should have known something was wrong when Jace came home 3 hours early from work. His eyes were red, his jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscles twitching. I was 6 months pregnant, folding baby clothes on our bed, humming along to the nursery playlist we'd made together just last week. Jace? Baby, what's wrong? I stood up, my hand instinctively going to my belly. Our daughter kicked, as if sensing the tension crackling through the air. Don't you baby me. His voice was ice. How long, Lucille? How long have you been screwing him? The accusation hit me like a slap. What? Jace, what are you talking about? My mother told me everything. He saw you last Tuesday at that coffee shop downtown. Laughing, touching his hand, looking at him like... He couldn't finish, his hands balling into fists. Coffee shop? Jace, I was at my prenatal appointment last Tuesday. You have the paperwork right there on the... Stop lying. His voice exploded through our bedroom. She has pictures, Lucille. Pictures of you with him. Some light-skinned man with tattoos. He said you looked real comfortable. Real familiar. My heart hammered. Light-skinned with tattoos? That could only be. You mean Dr. Burris? My obstetrician? Jace, that's my doctor. Your mother knows this. She met him at the 20-week ultrasound. But I could see it in his eyes. He didn't believe me. His mother's poison had already taken root, and I realized with growing horror that this was only the beginning. Teresa had never liked me. From the moment Jace brought me home 5 years ago, she'd made it clear I wasn't good enough for her baby boy. I was too dark-skinned, too educated, too independent, too everything that threatened her control over her son. She's just old-fashioned, Jace would say, making excuses. She'll come around. He never did. Instead, she got craftier. Subtle digs about my cooking, my cleaning, my career. You work so much, baby. How's Jace supposed to feel like a man when his wife makes more money than him? She'd plant seeds of doubt wrapped in concern, always when I wasn't around. Now, standing in our bedroom watching my husband look at me like I was a stranger, I understood. This wasn't about suspicion. This was about destruction. Teresa wanted me gone, and she'd found the perfect weapon. My pregnancy. Jace, call Dr. Burris's office right now. They'll confirm my appointment. I have the paperwork, the receipt, everything. My mother doesn't lie, he said flatly. But I do. Your wife of 4 years, the mother of your child, I'm a liar. He turned away from me, and that's when I saw it. His phone opened to his messages. I caught a glimpse of the conversation with his mother before he locked the screen. But I'd seen enough. Multiple messages, long paragraphs, attached photos. She'd been working on him for days, maybe weeks. How long has she been feeding you this? I asked quietly. How long have you been believing your mother over me? The doorbell rang before Jace could answer. His sister, Amara, burst in without waiting, her face a mask of theatrical concern. Great. Teresa had sent reinforcements. Oh, Jace, thank God you're confronting her. Amara glared at me with pure venom. Mama was so worried about telling you. She cried all night knowing she had to break your heart like this. Amara, you know this is insane, I started, but she cut me off. I know what I saw too, Lucille. 2 weeks ago at the mall. You were texting someone, smiling all secretive like. When I called your name, you practically jumped out of your skin and shoved your phone away. I remembered that day. I'd been coordinating a surprise birthday party for Jace with his best friend, Devin. The party we'd been planning for months. The one I'd painstakingly kept secret despite wanting to tell him 1,000 times. I was planning Jace's surprise party, I said desperately. Call Devin. He'll tell you. Devin's your alibi now? Amara scoffed. Convenient. What did you do, sleep with him too? Get him in on your lies. The cruelty of it stole my breath. These were people I'd considered family. I'd spent Christmases with them, helped Amara through her divorce, loaned her money she never paid back. And now she stood in my home, backing up her mother's lies, watching my marriage crumble with satisfaction in her eyes. Why are you doing this? I whispered. Amara, you know me. You know I love him. She smiled, cold and victorious. I know you trapped my brother with a baby that probably isn't even his. Light-skinned doctor, light-skinned baby? You do the math. Our daughter will have my skin tone, I said, my voice shaking. My mother is light-skinned. It's genetics, not enough. Jace's roar shook the room. I'm sick of your excuses. He grabbed my phone from the nightstand. What's your passcode? If you have nothing to hide, unlock it right now. You know my passcode. It's your birthday. Jace, please just listen. He was already scrolling, his face growing darker with each swipe. I knew what he was seeing. Innocent messages that his mother had taught him to view through a lens of betrayal. My boss asking about project deadlines became flirtation. My male cousin's meme became evidence. Dr. Burris's office reminder became a secret rendezvous. Who's Chris with the heart emoji? He demanded. That's my brother. Your brother-in-law. Jace, you've met him a dozen times. But I could see Teresa's programming taking over. Every explanation sounded like a lie to his poisoned mind. Every truth became fiction. She'd done her job too well. You're a whore, he said quietly. Too quietly. Then his hand connected with my face. The slap echoed through the room. Pain exploded across my cheek, sharp and burning. I stumbled backward, my hand flying to my belly protectively. Tamara gasped but didn't move to help me. He just stood there watching. Jace. I cried out, tasting blood from my split lip. The baby. But he was beyond reason now. His mother's poison had transformed him into someone I didn't recognize. Someone capable of hurting the woman carrying his child. The second blow came to my shoulder, spinning me around. I crashed into our dresser, knocking over the framed photos of our wedding day. Glass shattered, cutting into my arm. Our daughter kicked frantically inside me as if trying to escape the violence. For years, Jace snarled, grabbing my hair. 4 years of lies. Were you laughing at me the whole time? Playing me for a fool? Please, I sobbed, trying to protect my stomach. Please, Jace, think about the baby. Even if you hate me, think about her. Her. He laughed bitterly. You mean his baby? That doctor's baby. He shoved me hard. I fell to my knees, pain shooting through my body. My vision blurred with tears. This couldn't be happening. This wasn't my Jace. This wasn't the man who'd proposed under the stars, who'd cried happy tears at our first ultrasound, who'd spent hours picking out the perfect shade of lavender for the nursery. Jace, stop. You're hurting her. Tamara finally spoke, but her voice held no real conviction. She'd gotten what she came for, the destruction of my marriage. I looked up at my husband through tears and blood, and I saw it. The moment of clarity in his eyes, the horror at what he'd done. His hands were shaking. Lucille, but I was already moving. Survival instinct kicked in. I grabbed my car keys from the dresser and ran. Down the stairs, my shoulders screaming in pain, my face throbbing, my baby kicking in distress. I heard Jace calling after me, his voice cracking with regret. Too late. Too late for apologies now. I drove to the hospital, barely seeing through my tears. My hands trembled on the wheel. Every turn sent sharp pains through my body. The baby had stopped kicking, and that terrified me more than my injuries. Please be okay, I whispered, one hand on my belly. Please, baby girl. Stay with me. The ER nurse took one look at my face and brought a wheelchair. Ma'am, you're bleeding. How far along are you? 26 weeks. My husband, he didn't. I fell. The lie died on my lips. The nurse's knowing eyes stopped me. Honey, you don't have to protect anyone. Let's just get you and baby checked out. Dr. Morrison, the attending physician, was thorough and kind. After examining me, she sat down, her expression serious. Your daughter is okay. Her heartbeat is strong. But Lucille, these injuries, you didn't fall. The bruising pattern on your shoulder, the handprint on your upper arm. Someone hurt you. I broke down then, telling her everything. The accusations, the conspiracy between Teresa and Tamara, Jace's violence. She listened without judgment, occasionally making notes. I need you to know something, Dr. Morrison said gently. Domestic violence often escalates during pregnancy. This might not be the last time. You need to think about your safety and your baby's safety. He's never hit me before. His mother, she got in his head. That's not an excuse, she said firmly. Nothing justifies what he did. Nothing. And honey, a man who'll hit you once will hit you again. Especially if there are no consequences. Her words settled over me like a heavy blanket. He was right. God help me, she was right. Dr. Morrison brought in a social worker named Patricia, A woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She sat beside my hospital bed, her voice gentle but firm. Lucille, I know this is hard. But you need to file a police report. Not just for you, for your daughter. If something happens to you, there needs to be documentation. If I call the police on him, his mother wins, I said bitterly. She wants me gone. This is exactly what she wanted. His mother wanted him to commit domestic violence? To hurt you and potentially harm his unborn child. Patricia raised an eyebrow. Then she's more dangerous than you realize. And he's responsible for his own actions, regardless of what she said. The police officer who came was a black woman named Officer Jenkins. She'd seen too many cases like mine, I could tell from her eyes. She photographed my injuries. The swollen cheek already turning purple, the split lip, the fingerprint bruises on my arm, the bruise on my shoulder shaped like Jace's palm. This is assault, Mrs. Howard. Clear-cut assault on a pregnant woman. That's a serious charge. My phone had been buzzing constantly. 17 missed calls from Jace. 12 from Teresa, now she wanted to talk. And 3 from Amara. I turned it off. What happens now? I asked Officer Jenkins. We bring him in for questioning. Get his side. But with these injuries and your statement, there's enough for an arrest. The DA will decide about pressing charges, but given your pregnancy, they'll take this seriously. I signed the statement with shaking hands. With each signature I felt my old life ending. But maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. They discharged me 6 hours later with pain medication, ice packs, and a safety plan. I couldn't go home. Patricia helped me pack an overnight bag while Officer Jenkins stood guard. Jace had been calling the hospital, desperate to see me. I'm so sorry, he told the nurse. Please, I need to see my wife. I need to apologize. She doesn't want to see you, the nurse had said firmly, bless her heart. My best friend since college, Olivia, picked me up. One look at my face and she started crying. Oh, Jess. Oh, honey, no. She took me to her place, settled me on her couch, made me tea I couldn't taste. You're staying here as long as you need. Deshawn and I already talked about it. The guest room is yours. That night, lying in a bed that wasn't mine, feeling my daughter kick against my ribs, I made a decision. I would not be a victim. I would not let Teresa's toxicity destroy me. Most importantly, I would not raise my daughter in a home where violence was the answer to problems. My phone turned back on, revealed 43 more missed calls and dozens of texts. Most from Jace, increasingly frantic. Please come home. I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Mom was wrong about you, I know that now. Please, Lucille, I love you. But one text stood out. From Teresa. You called the police on my son? You vindictive bitch. You'll regret this. I screenshot it. Forwarded it to Officer Jenkins. Let them see what kind of woman they were dealing with. The game had changed. I was done playing defense. The next morning I hired a lawyer. Melissa Burris. No relation to my obstetrician. Was a divorce attorney with a reputation for being ruthless when protecting mothers and children. She sat across from me in her office, studying the photos of my injuries with a hardened expression. Here's what we're going to do, Melissa said. We file for divorce immediately. We get a restraining order against Jace and his mother. We document everything. And we prepare for war because that's what this is going to be. I don't want war, I said tiredly. I just want my baby to be safe. Then we fight. Because women like Teresa don't give up. She'll try to get custody, claim you're an unfit mother, whatever it takes to maintain control over her son and now her grandchild. The restraining order hearing was scheduled for the following week. In the meantime, Officer Jenkins called with news. Jace had been arrested, processed, and released on bail. The criminal case was proceeding. There's something else, she said carefully. We looked into your mother-in-law, Teresa Howard. He has a history. 2 previous domestic violence calls from Jace's father before he died. Allegations of harassment from her daughter's ex-husband. She's got a pattern of manipulative behavior. That night, going through old photos on my laptop, I noticed something I'd missed before. In every family picture, Teresa was positioned between Jace and me. Her hand on his arm. Her body angled toward him. At our wedding she'd worn white, a clear breach of etiquette I'd overlooked at the time. Then I found it. A voicemail from 2 years ago that I'd saved accidentally. Teresa's voice, talking to Jace when she thought I wasn't listening. She's not right for you, baby. Too independent. You need a woman who knows her place. I had my proof. This had been planned from the start. The restraining order hearing was brutal. Jace showed up looking haggard, dark circles under his eyes. He tried to approach me, but Melissa stepped between us immediately. Mr. Howard, there's a temporary no-contact order. Step back. Teresa was there too, dressed in church clothes, playing the devastated mother. She wept theatrically as I took the stand describing the assault. But Melissa was prepared. Your Honor, we have evidence that Mrs. Teresa Howard orchestrated a campaign of psychological manipulation against her son, deliberately destroying his marriage through false accusations. Melissa presented everything. The voicemails, the pattern of behavior, statements from Jace's father's family about Teresa's controlling nature. The judge, a stern black woman in her 60s, looked unimpressed with Teresa's tears. Mrs. Howard, did you tell your son that his wife was having an affair? I thought I saw. Yes or no? Yes, but did you have any proof beyond assumptions? Teresa faltered. A mother knows. That's not proof, that's gossip. And your gossip led directly to an assault on a pregnant woman. The judge's voice could have frozen fire. Jace's attorney tried to argue that his client was remorseful, that it was a one-time incident, that he'd been provoked by false information. Provoked. Melissa shot back. Being lied to by your mother doesn't give you the right to beat your pregnant wife. That's not provocation, that's inexcusable violence. The judge granted the restraining order. Both Jace and Teresa had to stay 500 feet away from me. Jace looked broken. Teresa looked furious. As we left the courtroom, Teresa hissed at me, "You're keeping my son's baby from him. What kind of monster are you?" "The kind who won't let her daughter grow up watching her father hit her mother," I said clearly. "Like you let Jace watch his father hit you." Her face went white. Got it. 3 weeks later, living with Olivia and focusing on preparing for my daughter's arrival, I received papers from Jace's new attorney. They were demanding a paternity test. I stood in Olivia's kitchen staring at the legal documents, feeling like I'd been punched all over again. "Teresa's behind this," Olivia said angrily. "She's still trying to prove her lies." Melissa called it a fishing expedition. "They have no grounds. You're still married, so there's a presumption of paternity. But if they want to pay for the test, let them. It'll only prove what you've been saying all along." But it hurt. God, it hurt. After everything, the accusations, the violence, the betrayal, Jace still doubted me. His mother's poison was still working. I agreed to the DNA test with one condition. It would be conducted by a court-approved facility, the results would be legally binding, and when it proved Jace was the father, he would pay all my legal fees and medical bills. The test was scheduled for 2 weeks before my due date. I was huge, uncomfortable, and exhausted. Walking into that facility, seeing Jace for the first time since the hearing, I felt nothing. The love I'd carried for 4 years had been beaten out of me, drowned in his mother's toxicity. "Lucille," he started, his voice cracking. "Please, can we just talk?" "No," I said flatly. "We're here for a DNA test you demanded because you don't believe your own wife. Let's just get it done." The technician swabbed my cheek, then Jace's. My daughter, as if sensing the tension, kicked hard against my ribs. The test would be processed after her birth, when they could swab her too. "We'll have results within 48 hours of birth," the technician said professionally, ignoring the tension thick enough to cut. As I walked out, I heard Jace crying. I didn't look back. I went into labor 3 weeks later at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Olivia rushed me to the hospital, coaching my breathing while I cursed through contractions. Melissa had already filed paperwork ensuring Jace wouldn't be allowed in the delivery room. "He gave up that right when he put his hands on you," she'd said firmly. "But labor is long and lonely when the father of your child isn't there." Between contractions, I thought about the life I'd imagined. Jace holding my hand, crying happy tears as our daughter entered the world. His mother, reformed and apologetic, waiting outside to meet her granddaughter. Family whole and happy. Instead, I had Olivia and Deshawn, my chosen family, coaching me through 18 hours of labor. My daughter entered the world screaming, perfect and furious, weighing 7 pounds 4 ounces. The nurse placed her on my chest and I fell in love instantly. She had my nose, my chin, and skin the color of honey, light brown, exactly like my mother's. "She's beautiful," Olivia whispered, tears streaming down her face. I named her Amara Grace Howard. Amara for Grace in Igbo, grace for the strength it took to survive. The DNA technician came in 6 hours after delivery. Professional, efficient, she swabbed Amara's cheek. Results in 48 hours as promised. I already knew what they'd say. But I needed the world to know it too. For 2 days, I existed in a bubble of newborn bliss and exhaustion. Amara was perfect, nursing well, sleeping in short bursts. I posted one picture online, her tiny hand wrapped around my finger. No caption needed. My phone exploded. Jace's family demanded to see her. Teresa insisted on her grandmotherly rights. I ignored them all. Then the results came. Jace arrived at the hospital with Officer Jenkins, as required by the restraining order for the results reading. He looked terrible, gaunt, haunted, aged 10 years and 3 months. The genetic counselor opened the envelope. Mr. Howard, you are confirmed to be the biological father. Probability of paternity, 99.99%. The silence was deafening. Jace broke down completely. Oh God, Lucille, what have I done? What have I done? You believed your mother over your wife, I said quietly, holding Amara closer. You chose her poison over my truth. You beat me while I was carrying your daughter. That's what you did. Please, he sobbed. Please, I'll do anything. Therapy, anger management, I'll cut my mother off completely. You should have done that years ago. Before you married me. Before you decided to have a child with me. I looked at him, really looked at him, and felt only pity. Your mother destroyed you, Jace. She turned you into the kind of man who could hurt the woman he claims to love. And I can't fix that. Only you can. Officer Jenkins handed me the official results. Legal proof of what I'd always known. Melissa, on speakerphone, confirmed, this documentation will be crucial for custody arrangements and for your lawsuit against Teresa for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Jace looked up sharply. You're suing my mother? For every lie she told, every bit of poison she spread, every injury I sustained because of her manipulation. Yes. And I'm suing you too for the assault. I deserve that, he whispered. I deserve all of it. 3 months later, sitting in my new apartment, small but safe, filled with Amara's toys and laughter, I received the settlement. Jace had agreed to full financial support, supervised visitation, and a formal apology to be read in court. Teresa had been ordered to pay damages and to have no contact with me or Amara until Amara turned 18 and could choose for herself. The money didn't heal the scars. The legal victories didn't erase the memories. But as I rocked my daughter to sleep singing softly, I realized something. I'd survived. More than that, I'd won. Not because I'd destroyed Jace or punished Teresa, though they'd faced consequences. But because I'd protected my daughter. I'd shown her that love doesn't look like fists and accusations. That family doesn't mean accepting abuse. That sometimes the strongest thing a mother can do is walk away. Amara Grace Howard would grow up knowing her mother fought for her. That when the world told me to stay quiet, to forgive, to make it work, I chose her instead. And that, I thought, kissing her forehead as she slept peacefully in my arms, was the only victory that mattered. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more real-life stories of survival and strength. Share your own experiences in the comments below. You're not alone. Remember, you deserve to be believed, protected, and loved. Never accept less.